Hello and welcome back to Game and Player. This is a series of videos in which I show you footage of VR games with footage of me playing them as well to give you a little bit of a better idea of what they're actually like to play. This game is Beat Saber and we've been waiting for this for a long time. A huge hit on PC VR. It's finally come to PlayStation. And let me just start by saying it lives up to the hype. It absolutely does. This game is fantastic. And it is actually another perfect example of that VR games can't really be done justice by watching a video. But having said that, I'm going to try and do some justice to it in this video. The reason it just doesn't do it any justice really is because you have to be in the headset to really appreciate just how awesome this game is to play. You have to be holding those move controllers in your hand to know how much of a badass you feel to be swiping those lightsabers through those blocks. This game is basically Guitar Hero with lightsabers. You're a dubstep jedi essentially. I really do like the music selection on this game. It's right up my alley, and it's just so addictive and compelling. You feel so cool slicing through those blocks. So as you can see, those blocks are moving towards you down this kind of Tron style corridor with arrows on one side showing you the direction that you have to slice through them. And those blocks that are coming towards you as well, you have to avoid those. If your headset goes inside those blocks, it's game over. But it's actually quite a serene, quite a trippy experience to put your head in those blocks. But yeah, if you do that, the game is over. But yeah, so you're slicing through those blocks. It's just very simple, and that's all there is to it. It's a rhythm action game with lightsabers. But what can be said about it? Well, it's a good workout. This game will get you sweating. If you play this long enough, regularly, you are going to lose weight playing this game. It's right up there with Spark and some of the other more, hardcore workouts we've had. The game has many different types of modifiers, so you can actually choose to play this game in a variety of different ways. You can make it more difficult or easier for yourself to play, and that's really good. Of course, makes it very inclusive. Everybody's going to be able to get something out of this game. It's going to be one of those party games that you get out for people that have absolutely no experience with VR. In fact, you could, put somebody in the headset who has no experience with games in general, and they'd be able to pick up the basics of this game enough to play it and enjoy it. Especially if you, take some of the difficulty out of it. You can do things like remove those arrows, in which case you'll be able to slice through those blocks in any way that you want, of course, making it easier. And there's various other different things that you can modify to make it easier or harder. A really great thing about this game is that it does have leaderboards. So it's really compelling to look at those leaderboards and try to beat your friends. Now there, as you can see, I just touched together the lightsabers. There's a cool little trick in this game that when you actually, in the game, you touch your lightsabers together, both your move controllers vibrate to simulate the fact that, that there's been some contact there. And that's really trippy. It actually really does feel like that the lightsabers are physically there in the game. It's just really trippy thing. It's a really clever thing they've done there to make both move controllers vibrate if you touch the lightsabers together. It just makes them feel like they've got a real presence. But yeah, as you can see, I've got some fairly decent scores actually on these tracks. I've been playing on the hard level. I think if you've got any proficiency with rhythm action games, you're going to want to play on hard level pretty quickly. I started off, tried a couple of tracks on normal, but that's pretty easy, quite pedestrian, so I think most people are going to gravitate towards the hard difficulty level fairly quickly. There is of course an expert level as well, and that is more difficult. I have tried a few tracks, but I've failed probably more often than I've succeeded on the expert tracks, so there is certainly a lot of challenge to this game. Obviously learning the tracks is going to make them easier to do well in the long run, but of course this game's only been out a day. But people are already pretty damn good at this game. There's already some very respectable scores on those leaderboards, even though this game has only just come out. So what else can be said? I mean, it's very simple, but it's just really fun. And it's been worth the wait. It was nice to find out actually this game was £25 when it actually got released last night. I thought it was going to be £30. That's what we'd been hearing, but it actually is £25. Some people are still saying that's too much because it is such a simple game, but for the amount of fun you're going to have with this game. Let me tell you, you've spent 25 quid on less deserving games in the past by now. Let me tell you, this game is worth the launch price. Unfortunately, there's no physical release. Obviously, I always prefer a physical release, but this doesn't have it. It probably makes sense as well, because this game looks like it's going to be supported into the future with lots of DLC. So in the future, you might find that maybe potentially even a majority of your content for this game would have been digital only anyway, with the DLC packs that are coming down the line. But yeah, to add more tracks to this game is certainly going to give it some more legs. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say about it. Those blocks that you have to avoid are really quite fun to dodge. So yeah, you really have to make sure your camera is set up to a good place so that you're going to be able to really dip down low sometimes to avoid them and not lose tracking. So make sure that your camera is set up. I've got it at eye level and it's pointed ever so slightly downwards, so that yeah, it doesn't lose any tracking at all, even when I dip down very low. So yeah, as you can see, you're slicing through these blocks. Most of them got arrows, some of them have little dots on. That just means that you can slice through any direction that you want to. And there's other things going on as well. There's bombs that you have to avoid touching with your lightsabers and that kind of thing. There's other different modifiers, like I said before, that you can make it easier or harder. One of those things that you can do to make it harder is to remove the arrows, or at least have the arrows disappear. So they'll be there in the distance, but when they get closer to you, they will have disappeared, and you've got to remember where those arrows were. And with everything else going on as well at the same time, that's not easy at all. There's a hell of a lot of challenge to this game, but for the moment, you know, you can just play it really chilled out and just taking it easy and just having fun with it, or you can try and be very proficient at it and actually try and, you know, climb those leaderboards. Now, yeah, and it matters as well. Accuracy matters. When you slice through the blocks, it slices through exactly as you did. So it's not just one generic split motion when the blocks split. Not just one generic animation for that. It will split in the direction and at the point that you actually hit the blocks, and you get more points for splitting them cleanly down the middle and such. So, and you've always got a multiplier going on as well. So again, if you get a perfect run through the songs, you're going to get higher scores, of course, because the multipliers take into effect. So yeah, it's really well tuned to be a game that is really accessible, but again, something that you can work at and master, and you know, really try and get, you know, awesome at it. But yeah, I don't know what else is to be said about this game. I guess I'll just let this play out for a bit, and you can watch me playing Beat Saber. And that is this game. I can highly recommend it. It lives up to the hype. Last night I was playing it, got into a certain kind of trance feel as well. There's a certain moment, I don't know if it's because I was herbally enhanced last night, but there's a certain moment when you just forget about trying to do well and you just do it. It's like, what film is it where they say, oh, it's The Matrix, stop trying to hit me and hit me. Well, when you get that feeling, when you've stopped trying and you're just doing it, and those blocks are coming towards you, it's hypnotizing. It is absolutely hypnotizing. Yeah, you feel like a badass, you feel like a dubstep Jedi. The hype is real. Beat Saber is amazing. As you can see, the leaderboards there, I've got quite high up onto some of the leaderboards on the hard difficulty on some of the tracks. It was fun trying to overtake people like PSVR Frank and Brian from Without Parole Gaming and Shughead, and I'm sure those scores won't stay on those in those top 10s for long though. Yeah, people are going to get ridiculously good at this game, I can imagine. But this is Beat Saber, guys. You need to pick this up. Okay.
Red to blue, from blue to red, and looking from red from overhead. We're playing. coming closer. Victory is mine, I'm making history, it's time. I'm living this moment, living the only, giving up only when my score is higher. You cannot find no one better than me, you cannot cover my delicacy, you cannot follow my legacy, please. Cause I'm a phenomenon and carrying on, cause I can go on and anything else you can say for later. We're playing Beat Saber. Unlimited power. I got the power. I got unlimited power. I got the power. I got unlimited power. Since the beginning, and I keep on winning, and I keep on swinging for hours. I was running the game. We are not playing the same. I was just going insane. From red to blue, from blue to red, the nigga from red from overhead. We're playing.